We finally know what happened to Oceanside. It has only taken 6 episodes to get an answer from the 11B cliffhanger, which is frustrating, but Luke is back, Luke is back, Luke is back. Dan Fogler, as we know, was filming the Fantastic Beasts franchise, so he had been missing for a little while. I'm partially happy here with the explanation. Yay for predicting that Luke and Jules probably escaped Oceanside, right? That's what happened here. So it was really nice to see that one of my predictions came true. My second prediction, if you've been following along, was that I was really hoping, I mean, not that I would say I was hoping for deaths, right? I mean, but I think that it would have been nicer to see that Lance, when he flipped his coin, it wound up being that they, you know, sadly executed everyone from Oceanside, that the Commonwealth soldiers, you know, killed everyone from Oceanside, and that though that they had turned into the walkers that Aaron and Jerry and Lydia and Elijah ran into. I thought that would have been more heartbreaking if they, you know, discovered on the way to Oceanside that they recognized some of the dead. And I thought that would have been horrifying. I thought that would have been like extremely great writing. And instead, here we learn from Luke and from Jules that Oceanside has simply just been taken over by the Commonwealth, and they're just like under new management, and everyone is kind of just trapped there, and you're kind of just like, oh, okay. I don't know, it felt like kind of just a cop-out for me, especially since we haven't done a lot at Oceanside. We don't really know a lot about those people, so honestly, if you're not going to give us bigger deaths on The Walking Dead in the final season, like mostly everyone is still alive, it just felt like that would have been a way to just, you know, give us a few slightly big deaths, but also do something shocking. And you know, I wish that they took that swing. I'm just gonna say, I did not believe this scene where the Commonwealth soldiers were out late at night in their vehicles with a light, trying to look through a herd of walkers to see if they could identify Luke and his girlfriend, Jules. That just didn't seem believable to me. Like, would they have really done that? Would they be resorting to looking through a horde of walkers? Like, why were they convinced that they had to be in that horde? Why wouldn't they have just been looking? Once again, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a whole bunch of soldiers out on this, right? I don't know how many people they are committing to looking for Luke and Jules, so I will give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll say that there is an entire search party. Some are searching for them in the woods, and these guys were just tasked with, oh yeah, by the way, your job is to just shine massive spotlights on any herds of walkers that you may see, and you better look super thoroughly through all of them. I just it's so funny because for like some of the really silly things that I've discussed that I've been frustrated with in the past few episodes, like this is a really smart thing, but I just feel like it's almost too smart. That I just don't know if these Commonwealth soldiers would really be doing when they are on the flip side falling asleep and they can't even, you know, keep an eye on Maggie and Gabriel and Rosita for what, 30 minutes or an hour or maybe a few hours while they're transporting people. I don't know. Maybe that's why some Commonwealth troopers are delegated to, you know, working with the warden at Alexandria. I love Eugene's speech so much. Two things I want to say from the speech that he gives to the courtroom. The first, sorry, I'm sure that it got to everyone a little bit. The first is that, you know, usually when you hear those speeches where someone says, one person can make a difference, You're kind of like, yeah, okay, like it's such a cliche. But Eugene, you think back and you're like, oh yeah, he really did make a difference. He is the entire reason why Rick's people won the war against Negan. He changed up the bullets, remember? Like they backfired on everyone because he was the bullet maker. So in that way, yeah, one person can literally make a difference. The second thing that I want to point out, and I'm sure a lot of you probably picked up on this, as Eugene was delivering certain lines, the camera was cutting to Mercer, because you could tell this was hinting out what we were going to see at the end of the episode, right? As Eugene is giving this speech, and as he's saying, and I'm just reading this off the screen because I paused it, he goes, "My inaction made me culpable, and I hated myself for that." And right then, you can see Mercer kind of looking down, looking over at Eugene, and they show him again later near the end of Eugene's speech when he's talking about how one person can really change the tide. And I think it's Eugene's words that finally get through to Mercer. Ooh, how are we feeling about the reverse Negan lineup? I think that's what I'm gonna call it. Not really sure how else to refer to it. I think that makes sense. Few things. One, I was kind of blown away that Negan didn't go and give Ezekiel up. Like, I was happy about that, right? We were all happy about that because we would have just been pissed, right? I was a little surprised that Negan went and just said that he was the traitor. It makes sense, you know, watching it a second time, even watching it the first time, as to why he does that, right? He knows that everyone hates him. And you know what? At the end of the day, he just wants Annie to be okay, right? And he knows that no one else cares about him really. And he's probably like, you know what? Maybe this is what I deserve for everything that I've done. So that was one thought. Two, I think I became really rattled when Annie was put in this lineup with Negan. And you can see it on Ezekiel's face where he was probably like, well, I didn't really care if Negan was gonna, you know, get shot. So he would have been fine if they went and killed just Negan on his own. But you can tell that like the moment that Annie is brought up, Ezekiel, he kind of just like this flip switches, and he's kind of just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm okay with this. This isn't what I signed up for. And I don't know about anyone else. I got really, really nervous when Ezekiel goes and he puts himself in front of both of those people. I thought that we were about to have like this really divisive moment on The Walking Dead where they were about to, you know, gun down Ezekiel, and Ezekiel's life was going to be taken in order to save Negan and his pregnant wife. And I was like, what are we doing? Then everyone else follows suit, you know, and obviously that's not what happened. Between this and the courtroom scene with Eugene's speech, those two moments easily made this the best so far of these final 8 episodes for me. I am wondering if this sat well with other people, or if people were watching this scene and they were kind of like, really, we're kind of like rehashing the Bat moment, you know, one of the most controversial, if not the most controversial moment on The Walking Dead. It worked for me. I could see if it doesn't work for everyone. End of the episode. Eugene thinks he's walking to, you know, what are going to be his final moments, thinks that he's being marched to his execution. He comes face to face with Mercer and 2 other Commonwealth soldiers. Eugene's mask is unlifted. I don't know if you picked up on this, but we hear that his handcuffs are being unlocked. He's being uncuffed, and he just looks at Mercer. He's unsure of what's about to happen. Mercer looks at him and goes, "Time to F shit up." It's about time, Mercer. It's about time. Been waiting like 8 episodes for you to finally get with the program, my guy. One, best line delivery of the episode. It's a little surprising that it's taken this long because we've seen that he's been siding with Daryl and Rosita, and he knows that everything that's going on at the Commonwealth is not satisfactory. He knows that it could be run better. Honestly, like, Mercer should probably run the whole thing. I am wondering if Margot Bingham maybe said a little too much to me when I asked her, who she would be devastated to see die, and she said Mercer, and that's not the thing that I'm saying that maybe she said too much about, but in answering that question to me, she had said, I think that Mercer would be a really good leader for the Commonwealth. So I'm kind of wondering if that's something that we're going to see happen in the future. 2, who else has, been shocked by how many times The Walking Dead has been dropping like the F-bomb and other curse words for the past few episodes? I don't know if this is because the episodes are dropping on AMC Plus first. I'm not totally aware of what the whole reasoning is behind that, but it has been very noticeable that characters have been cursing more. I loved where this episode ended. Makes me super excited to watch the next episode. As I said, I think that this was my favorite episode of the 8. It just so much happens in it. There's so much progression, and it makes me think that it's only going to keep getting better in these final 2. Do I have a prediction for where the show is going to end? I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's just going to end at this point with Team Family, with all of Daryl's group just living happily ever after, and getting their land back from Pamela and the Commonwealth. I don't see Pamela living unless they toss her in jail. Should I just do an entire post on predictions for the finale? Maybe I'll do that instead of just tossing in all my thoughts here, because now I'm starting to have a few. I am most curious, I think, to see whether or not they have the 25-year or just some sort of time jump, because instead I'm thinking that maybe they just have a coda where they tease Rick Grimes or something. Should make a bingo card for the finale and what sorts of things happen. Okay, I'm gonna watch the inside the episode and see if they mention anything really good, and then I'll just add that into here. I think we covered most of the stuff on the inside of the episode, except for 2 things that I was not aware of. Showrunner Angela Kang said that final line delivery from Mercer was actually an ad-lib. So that's kind of awesome that he got to just add that in. The other thing that Angela Kang revealed in the inside the episode was that they shot a few different final scenes for Sunday's episode. So that really makes me interested in what the alternative scenes were, and maybe we will find out what those are. I know that Angela sometimes does weekly interviews with Entertainment Weekly, so I would just guess that, like, if it's going to be anywhere, Dalton Ross may have that info on EW. But I guess we'll wait and see. I am curious. I am curious about what those alternate scenes were, but I think this was the right one. This was a good ending to the episode. I'm probably going to wind up watching 11/23 just shortly before you guys. I'll wind up watching it on AMC Plus, and I hope it's great. I'll see you. You know what? Here's the one last thing I'll say. I believe that this is going to be. It's hard for me to watch this episode because I believe it is the last Walking Dead screener I am ever getting in my inbox. So I kind of don't want to start it.